Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new episode of Real Business Roundtable.
He passes out.
Today, we're talking about how to avoid business acquisition pitfalls. What does that mean? That means when you are to buy a business, or also known as acquiring a business, because many businesses are for sale, there has to be a logical reason why you are buying that business. I made this episode because I am observing. I'm seeing things, I'm seeing mistakes, I'm seeing pitfalls that I don't know why they happen. I don't know the logic behind why they happen. And I get it, it's exciting to buy a business, but we're gonna go over some of the basic core reasons why you would buy a business and how to handle that acquisition properly and in line with success or improvement. Now, one of the first reasons why someone buys a business is, let's say they're employed for a while, they have some retirement saved up, they kind of want to go out on their own and work for themselves. They'll usually speak to a business broker and they will buy an existing business. Ladies and gentlemen, existing business. Existing business. What is an existing business? It's a business that already has a client base, they have a brand, they have a reputation, they have a website. They're already out there. Maybe they've been in business for 5, 10, 20, 30, 40 years, and you're going to take over. Now, it's very important how you handle this once you acquire this business. Is your goal to buy it and take it to the next level? Or are you buying basically a new job? What you don't want to do, this is very important. If you want to keep those clients, you have to be very careful on what you change.
Bruh.
What do you change? What do you not change? Because I'll tell you, humans are creatures of habit. They see something weird. Let me give you an example. You buy an ice cream shop. You're shelling out ice cream. Out of the blue, you turn it into also a pizza shop. What the fuck?
Bruh.
What? Now, us as humans, when we see this, we're talking about your existing clients seeing this. The existing customers that go to that business and they get their ice cream. Whoa, change. It's change. It's change.
Well, the sounds you're saying.
Why?
So random.
Wait, why is this a pizza place? I don't like this. What happened? Oh, there's a new owner. What? This is why when business acquisitions happen, they try to keep it as quiet as possible. We got to sign that NDA. When you make the change, shaking things up. I've seen people buy businesses and they just completely change the name. I have seen people buy established brands, especially in Boston, New England, existing brands that are legendary. And I'm not going to say the name. I watched this person buy the business. I'm like, oh, wow. Oh, this is cool. Because he was going forward with it. And out of the blue, changes the name, changes the logo. Dude, this was an established big brand. I'm talking Boston.
Yeah.
Like all of the cities in Massachusetts, all the towns in Massachusetts, everybody knew that brand. This guy changed the entire place through and through into a different type of product. I was like, what'd you do with that brand? I got bored with it. I didn't want to. So you're basically a startup. You just bought that business for no reason. Here's another thing. When you buy, let's say, a restaurant that has an existing client base, right? And you go there, and let's say it's a certain type of cuisine. and then you add a cuisine that has nothing to do with that cuisine that was sold at that place. Now, I'm not crazy. I have seen this myself. I have been in restaurants that were doing this and adding other cuisines, like massive polar shifts, side by side with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I saw a pizza place that also sold empanadas. Empanadas. I love empanadas. Love empanadas. But us as humans, we want to go, if we want pizza, we go to a pizza place. If we want empanadas, we go to an empanada place. If we want tacos, we go to a taco and burrito place. If we want Italian food, we go to an Italian restaurant, and so on, Chinese, etc. Thai. Imagine you went to a Thai restaurant and they
Had
also had pizza. Like it doesn't jive with people. And if that restaurant already had a client base in that town that looked at it as, hey, pizza shop, sub shop, pizza, sub shop, boom, boom, boom. But what I'm trying to get at, I was in this restaurant and I saw somebody walk in and go, what the hell's going on? This was a customer. This wasn't me. Okay? This was a customer going, what the hell's going on? They were talking to their wife.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there like, I don't know what to do. Like they would dude, I'm telling you, and I'll tell you after the show, like more details, but they literally added a whole, I'll give you an example. Let's say it's a sub shop. Mm-hmm. They're selling subs. And they're also doing General Gao chicken.
Yeah. Just
why?
Like,
Why are you selling General Gao chicken? General So.
So's, whatever the fuck it is.
Is it General So? Is it General
TSO.
Gao? You're selling So and Go. Next to
at a
pizza.
sub shop.
You're selling it next to pizza.
It is not General So, but rather General Cao.
What are you doing? What master business plan did this come from?
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm a master genius. I just know common sense when it comes to business. And when you have a base of clients for an existing business and you just start shaking shit up, people get turned the fuck off.
Yeah.
I've seen it firsthand. I don't care what anybody thinks. I don't care what anybody says. I see this every day. People buy businesses and they fucking drive them to the ground.
And I just want to say the right thing to do when buying a business, and we'll talk about not like the person who saved up some money and they want to retire from their 9-to-5 and start up a job or buy a business, whatever. What you explained earlier is taking a brand that is already like a staple within an area and turning it into something completely different is the opposite of what you got to do. If you're going to buy that business, you have to hold up the brand and then buy more locations that's similar or competitors of that thing and grow the brand.
Yeah, if I dropped the name, probably a bunch of the people watching would know what I'm talking about. And I respect and like those people that did that. It doesn't mean that people make mistakes, people make bad decisions, which is why I'm trying to respect their privacy. But and after the show, I'll tell you who it is, and you're gonna go, oh shit, I remember. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, when it comes to buying a business, if you're already a business owner, it's one of the best things you can do. It's essentially turnkey, double revenue. As long as you have a process that can be replicated and scaled, you pretty much just take your offering, your operations, your whatever, you buy a business, you flip it and you bring your business over there. It's essentially adding revenue while you take on a little bit of debt, whatever it is, blah blah blah, but then you're adding that revenue onto your business. Honestly, any business should do this.
That's a great segue. So sometimes people buy, ladies and gentlemen, synergistic businesses. So if you have, and I've given this example before, you have a laundromat and you want to get into dry cleaning and there's a dry cleaner 2 blocks away. Shit, I would love to have those clients. You grab that business. Now you doubled your revenue essentially, right? That's a great strategy, but don't shake it up too much. Also, there are plateaued businesses. People would buy these businesses if you had more of like old school owners that didn't know how to grow it. The business was plateaued. When I say plateaued, I mean the sales have hit a number that they're really not going to pass because they're not going to invest in advertising and blah, 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 blah. You know, well, I run word of mouth. Well, that's why you've been stuck at that number for 20 years. Ladies and gentlemen, that's why you've been stuck. Now, the smart person's going to come in, hey, let me buy this. They're going to buy it. They're going to blow it up. Maybe have multiple locations, make it a national whatever. Maybe they might do that. A lot of people will do that. Private equity, they'll go in, boom, blow it up sometimes and fund the growth to go past that plateau. That is another strategy that's really, really good.
Yeah.
If you just buy a business and you never have plans on growing it, ladies and gentlemen, you just purchased a job. You just purchased a job.
No, I will say, if you're in like a service business, this is probably one of the best things you do. It is the lowest multiplier for that type of industry is the lowest purchase multiplier. Like you can get, if you're a flooring company or you're a big roofing company or a custom home building, whatever it is, if you want to open up in a different area, in a different market, which you should, all of the, I have some friends who are massive roofing contractors. All they do is buy they buy different locations, new, different businesses that are, they buy other roofing companies, but they are the smallest multiplier. You can, if there's a roofing company, let's say you're in Texas and you want to break into the Florida world for anything, for literally any type of service, home improvement, it's like fucking 2 times year. Like it's not like it's not crazy. Like it's not a software company where a software company can sell for 5-7 times.
Yeah.
It's good money. And it makes a lot of sense, especially for home improvement. I know we talk about that industry a lot, but we work with a lot of home improvement contractors, and like that is like almost the one thing that is promised to help you grow is by buying another company, another business in a different location. You're just adding that revenue. I've seen people do it time and time over again. It's happening everywhere. People are always going to need it. The multiplier isn't that high because of the nature of the business, but it's a great growth plan at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. So if you're thinking about buying a business, you have to, in order to avoid the pitfalls, is you have to have a plan. You have to know, okay, what do I need to do to take this business to the next level? What am I going to do to maintain integrity and continuity within the business? I get it's yours now, and maybe you want to feel like empowered by changing things. But remember, every change you make is going to have a repercussion, either positive or negative, regardless of what you think. I've seen people buy businesses and completely fucking destroy them, to the point where their suppliers and vendors call me and said, who is this fucking idiot that bought the business? Who is this? I get the calls from the suppliers. I get the calls from the vendors for that business because they will, oh my God, the shock, because they're relying on the orders, and then the orders drop. The orders drop. Think about it. All the vendors go, what the fuck is, what? Right? I'm on the sidelines going, I can't, I don't know what to tell you. I can say that there's a new owner. There's a new owner in town. And those decisions are what they made. That's how the cookie crumbles.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us today on Real Business Roundtable. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please like, subscribe, turn on post notifications to get notified. You gotta play the sounds. I can't speak without the sounds. Peace out. See you next time.